Hello, everyone. Let me start by asking, have you ever paused for a moment to really watch a squirrel? They dart through trees like furry little ninjas, defy gravity on telephone wires, and seem to have boundless energy. But these clever creatures are more than just backyard entertainers. Today, we're going to take a closer look at squirrels, their wild world, their amazing abilities, and even the ways they help our planet. You might just walk away with a new appreciation for these bushy-tailed wonders. So, what exactly is a squirrel? Squirrels belong to the rodent family Squirrelidae, which includes over 200 species. They come in a variety of shapes and sizes, from the tiny African pygmy squirrel, which is only about 5 inches long, including the tail, to the Indian giant squirrel, which can grow to over 3 feet. That's a serious range. You can find squirrels just about everywhere. North and South America, Europe, Africa, and Asia. Just not Antarctica or Australia. There are 3 main types of squirrels: tree squirrels, ground squirrels, and flying squirrels. And while they might live very different lives, all squirrels share some key traits. They have sharp claws for climbing, strong hind legs for jumping, and large front teeth that never stop growing, which they use to gnaw on just about anything. Most of us are most familiar with tree squirrels, like the gray squirrel or the red squirrel. These are the agile athletes of the squirrel world. They can leap up to 10 times their body length and land with incredible precision. Their strong hind legs and sharp claws help them climb vertically, run across branches, and even hang upside down to get to food. That big bushy tail does more than just look cute. It acts like a rudder when they leap, a parachute when they fall, and a cozy blanket when they curl up to sleep or stay warm in winter. Their tails also help them communicate. They'll flick or twitch their tails to signal danger or annoyance. One of the most amazing things about tree squirrels is their memory. In the fall, they bury thousands of nuts and seeds in scattered locations to retrieve later during the winter. This behavior is called caching. And while they do remember many of their hiding spots, they definitely don't remember all of them. In fact, many forgotten nuts end up sprouting into trees, which means squirrels unintentionally help plant and grow forests. That's right. These little critters are accidental environmentalists. Ground squirrels live very different lives. Instead of living in trees, they dig extensive tunnel systems underground. These burrows can be impressively complex, with separate chambers for sleeping, storing food, and raising babies. Some burrows have multiple entrances and escape routes in case of predators. One of the most fascinating ground squirrels is the Arctic ground squirrel. In the winter, they hibernate. And I mean really hibernate. Their body temperature drops below freezing, and their heart rate slows dramatically. They survive like this for up to 8 months, essentially frozen, but still alive. Then there are prairie dogs, a highly social type of ground squirrel. They live in large colonies, or towns, with hundreds of individuals. Prairie dogs are famous for their elaborate vocal calls. Researchers have found that they can describe predators in amazing detail. Not just danger, but a tall man in a blue shirt walking from the east. Their language is one of the most sophisticated forms of communication in the animal kingdom among non-primates. Now let's talk about the high flyers, flying squirrels. Despite their name, they don't actually fly. Instead, they glide through the air using a stretchy membrane of skin called the patagium, which connects their wrists to their ankles. It's like a built-in wingsuit. With this gliding ability, flying squirrels can travel up to 300 feet in a single leap. That's nearly the length of a football field. They use their tails to help steer and brake in midair. Most flying squirrels are nocturnal, meaning they're active at night. They have large, dark eyes adapted for low light. And here's a weird fact. Some flying squirrels actually glow pink under ultraviolet light. Scientists are still trying to figure out why. Squirrels aren't just athletic. They're also incredibly smart. In experiments, they've solved complex puzzles to get food, remembering the steps even months later. They can adapt to new problems quickly, figuring out how to navigate obstacles and outsmart predators. One of the cleverest things squirrels do is fake burying their food. If a squirrel thinks it's being watched, it may pretend to dig a hole and hide a nut, only to sneak away and hide it somewhere else later. This behavior, called tactical deception, is quite rare in the animal world. It shows a high level of awareness, and perhaps a little sneakiness. Squirrels have also played a role in human culture. In Norse mythology, there's a squirrel named Ratatoskr who runs up and down the great tree Yggdrasil, carrying messages, and sometimes insults, between an eagle and a serpent. In many Native American legends, squirrels are clever tricksters or brave defenders of the forest. More recently, squirrels have popped up in books, cartoons, and movies. Think about Scrat from Ice Age, obsessing over his acorn, or Sandy Cheeks from SpongeBob SquarePants, a squirrel in a diving suit living underwater. These characters might be exaggerated, but they reflect the real traits we admire in squirrels: energy, determination, and maybe a little mischief. In real life, squirrels have adapted well to city life. You'll find them in parks, on college campuses, and even on window ledges. They're resourceful, curious, and not at all shy about approaching humans, especially if food is involved. But they're not always welcome guests. Squirrels have a habit of chewing through wires, which can cause serious problems, even fires. They've also been known to sneak into attics or garages and set up camp. Despite that, some people grow quite fond of their local squirrels, even feeding them or raising orphaned babies until they can be released back into the wild. Here's a fun historical tidbit. In the 19th century, squirrels were actually popular pets in America. You could order them by mail, and they came with little wire cages sold in catalogs like Sears and Roebuck. Imagine seeing that in a store today. Not all squirrel species are thriving, though. In the UK, the native red squirrel has been declining for decades. That's partly due to competition from the gray squirrel, which was introduced from North America. Gray squirrels carry a virus that doesn't hurt them, but is deadly to reds. As a result, red squirrels have disappeared from much of England and Wales, although conservation efforts are underway to protect them. Habitat loss, urban development, and climate change also threaten squirrel populations around the world. Changes in temperature affect when and how squirrels hibernate, what foods are available, and where they can safely live. Protecting forests and green spaces helps not just squirrels, but many other species that depend on these ecosystems. So, what have we learned today? Squirrels are more than just cute, bushy-tailed animals we see in our backyards. They're skilled climbers, clever problem solvers, underground engineers, and accidental tree planters. They've adapted to almost every environment on Earth, from snowy tundras to city sidewalks. And they continue to surprise scientists with their intelligence and adaptability. The next time you see a squirrel scampering across a branch or digging in your garden, take a second to appreciate the little miracle in front of you. They're not just surviving, they're thriving. And they just might be smarter than we give them credit for. Thank you so much for listening.